Afternoon, everybody. No! It's your old pals, Matty and Nick, belly on up to the bar with us. Tonight at the bar, Anthony Cumia, who used to hang out here all the time, but then he got kicked out of the bar because a very lame bouncer didn't want him here anymore.
That is true.
But there's new management now, and welcome back home, my friend.
This is awesome. Yeah, back at AAF after many, many years.
Indeed.
Yeah, and to a regular traditional broadcast radio.
And you haven't said one offensive thing. It's
No,
lovely.
I do other radio shows, and I do some of the Fox News shows. Last night I did Kennedy on Fox Business, so you got to be cool.
Kennedy's
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'd like to do Kennedy, too.
Yeah.
Ooga,
Yeah. I'd like to shoot that Kennedy in the head. You know what I mean.
There's a campaign I'd like to end.
Yeah, right.
Like
Too
to
soon.
mess up that trunk.
I like how we venerate them around here, and there's transcripts of them yelling racial epithets around the. Get that blank out of here! Why do we hold them up?
They're just they're royalty.
And comedian Will Noonan joining.
Hey, how are you?
Too soon.
Good.
Dude.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Why are you running away from me?
If you would like to ask Anthony a question, the framing again a question. Don't just say, "I remember when you did this bit," because we all remember. But if you have a
It
question-
literally was the remember
Some
when you
of us
did the
remember.
bit line. And I get it.
Yeah.
It's WAAF. We're all Anthony's friend. We get
nice.
it.
We remember.
617-764-WAAF. But why don't we go ahead with the show? And Anthony, you can crack wise. We're going to do a little news now.
Ooh.
All right, Stiz, what do you got?
All right, you guys ready?
Yep, we're
I'll
ready.
play the sound. You tell me why is it in the news.
Okay.
Well, I just realized the last 1 year. No, he does not deserve it. If at all, he's bad. Messi does not deserve it. Ronaldo does not deserve it.
I know what this is.
Give it for what? Give it for what? Give it for what?
What do you think it is?
This is audio of when Anthony took that picture of that girl.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I knew it sounded familiar.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that was it.
No, Stiz says
I was
incorrect.
like, I actually thought that's what you hear in your mind when you step onto the New York City subway.
Are those two of Trump's handlers arguing if he should toilet tweet or not?
What is that?
Someone trying to claim their $10 million from that Nigerian scamster.
He's actually
No,
close.
ballpark.
Is it close?
Ballpark.
Yeah.
Really?
It's.
I knew I should have sent him my social.
I know.
What's in the news right now that could be? Two people
What was-
arguing. It's got to be.
No, he does not deserve it. If at all,
Oh, you know what?
You win.
Two guys trying to figure out if that Walmart.com Black Friday thing is good online now. Yeah?
I know what it is. No, they're online. They're pre-ordering Permanently Suspended.
Oh,
Anthony's new book,
thank
and
goodness.
they
hear
found
it.
out that it was sold out.
I did hear a couple of Alexas in there.
All right, you guys ready?
All right,
Yeah.
what is
Believe it or not, that is Nigerian sports announcers.
Oh, so
Whoa.
Nigerian.
Yeah, you were.
calling a
Yeah.
game.
How did you?
You know,
how did you know it wasn't Dutch people?
I'm fluent in Nigerian.
You don't normally pronounce it Niger. That's weird.
No, it's
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Right?
Everyone stop.
Oh
Everybody
my God.
stop.
We've been good.
Sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Come
sorry.
on. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
how do you know the temperature in that pool unless you put at least like one toe in there? Just one toe.
I could feel Patrice O'Neill
wait,
watching
country.
us.
I'm a racist.
So wait, that was Nigerian sports radio?
Yes, that was Nigerian sports radio.
Oh, I've listened to that all day
Right?
compared to Boston
They are
sports
into
radio.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
What, they must have been arguing about football, soccer. They like soccer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful
big
game.
time.
Soccer, yeah.
I just realized the last 1 year. No, he does not deserve it.
And you should
If
see
at
their
all,
arm motions. They're flailing around.
Ronaldo does not deserve
Did
it.
this went viral?
Yes,
Give it for
it
what?
is everywhere
Give
right
it
now.
for what?
A lot of things go viral there.
I would listen to that 10 times out of 10.
Imagine them
me
calling
too.
a Pats game.
I wouldn't, Mike. I wouldn't start David Price in the clutch. I think he stinks. I think he's overpaid. I wouldn't do it. He's a bum. Tom Brady's in decline. Brady's window is closing, and Belichick should be ashamed for not maximizing his talent.
Sure, the Red Sox won the World Series, but their opponents were weak.
Thanks.
Did you sometimes feed Anthony like if Superman feeds off the rays of the sun? Did you almost like reverse Superman and just feed off the negative energy in this town? Because sometimes it is empowering.
Yeah. The good thing is I'm used to it from New York too, because there's a lot of negativity there in certain areas. But yeah, there is just this underlying. I don't understand, because before the Sox started becoming this championship dynasty, that really led to or lent itself to misery here in Boston. And now there's just not as much a reason to be so upset.
Yeah,
especially about sports.
We don't know what to be angry about now, so
yeah.
we manufacture things. Like what Nick was just imitating is true. Like we've had a bounty of riches in this city, and we argue about like, well, no, Tom Brady really isn't going to retire. Like, what are we fighting about? We should be enjoying this.
And the Red Sox, like I hear when they're playing, you'll hear the Yankees suck chants still, and it's like, isn't that kind of?
I was at game one. At game one.
Yeah.
Chris Sale retires the first two batters. Third batter, he's got a 2-2 count. The entire stadium, Yankees sucks. First inning of game one of the World Series.
Yeah, I never liked that.
And it's like yelling, "Down with the Kaiser! Down with the Kaiser!" It's ancient history. It doesn't matter anymore. You guys are awesome.
People in this town hang on to things that were significant 30 years ago. Hey, have you heard some of the music we play? And now Whitesnake here on AF.
Hey, Nick.
Aerosmith.
Hey, Nick. We ain't having nothing but a good time. Take it easy. All right. Let's go to Frank. There are a couple questions.
I was so confused for a second.
I hate myself.
The shame is Brady should have 9 Super Bowls.
Carla.
Jesus.
Who is he? Who is he? Who is Stan Lee?
He was one of the creators of Marvel Comics.
Oh, who cares?
Mike Francesa.
Francesa.
You and Francesa ever have a run-in?
Yeah.
Oh, who cares? No, we never actually had a run-in, but we did go to a steakhouse once with a bunch of the show guys from the O&A show. And we saw Mike Francesa's locker. You know these restaurants that have lockers for the celebrities?
Wine
They keep wine in there and cigars and stuff.
Oh, wow.
We noticed it wasn't locked. It was like kind of a little open. So we opened it up and just cleaned out and drank all of Mike Francesa's wine and smoked his cigars. It was awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
I'm sure he was completely nice to the staff when he found out his stuff was taken.
Oh, I bet he was very understanding.
Well, it's okay. Let's go to Frank. Frank has a question for you, Anthony. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, how you doing? Showbiz.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, Frankie.
Frank.
Anthony, how you doing? My question to you is, any word on whatever happened to Wheelchair Fred?
Oh, my God. Now,
Wheelchair
Fred was a guy obviously in a wheelchair, or the name would be silly.
It'd be great if he wasn't. Just name things about him that aren't.
You know, that's a good idea. Just have a Wheelchair Fred, and then people boggled as to why his name.
You know, Hat Will. Why do you call him Hat Will? Because he never wears a hat.
Never wears one. Well, that's silly then. Yeah. So, Wheelchair Fred was a guy who had been in an accident and lost his ability to walk, so he was in a wheelchair, and he talked all weird. He was like, oh, and we would take him to gigs, and people would love him, and one day, though, we brought him up on stage, and I was hammered, of course. It was an appearance, why not? And I was like, I got this thing, and the audience got me all wound up. I was like, I think I could heal this guy and make him walk. So I put my hand on his head and I'm like, Fred, you are healed with the power in me. You can walk, Fred. You can. And he's like, I can walk.
No.
He slowly pushes himself out of the chair with his arms. His legs are shaking. His little atrophied knees, looking like a newborn foal, are shaking. He gets himself up. He pulls his arms away from the chair. The audience goes nuts. He's actually standing.
Oh my God.
For a split second. He face plants right in front of the microphone on the stage, and the whole audience goes, oh. And then you start hearing, not cool, man. and me and Opie had to leave. They started throwing stuff at the stage.
For that?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's when the audience drew a line.
That was too much. That was too much.
Yeah, I thought I had it.
Yeah, I think that's great.
How about CJ? Go ahead, CJ. You're on with Anthony.
Hey guys, how are ya?
What's up, buddy?
Anthony, whatever happened to Lady Di on the O&A show?
Oh man.
That was Lady Di. It was they were from, and if I may use well, it's the R word for mentally challenged.
Oh, that
I wouldn't use it.
Right.
But we call them the R word, Laverne and Shirley. It was two women, Di and her friend, and they.
That's how we pitched this show.
Yeah. Yes. Because one worked at a brewery. And the other one had a real job, and we sent him out to the red carpet for one of the MTV award shows, and it was hilarious. But the one was Di was a real alcoholic, and she just slowly spiraled into oblivion. Yeah. But we found out things like her husband got hit by a train, so we constantly were bashing her about. Just talking to her made me want to jump in front of a locomotive. No. And why her husband jumped in front of a train. It was better than having to go to bed with her. And just horrible things. But we heard from her maybe a couple of years ago, or heard about what was happening to her. Apparently, funny story, she has dementia and thinks she's 20-something in the Navy again.
Well,
so
she's
God
happy.
bless.
She's in her 20s.
Yeah.
Wet brain. I believe.
Ahoy,
Wet brain,
mateys.
yes. I love the story of you guys taking and Keith the cop was instrumental in this. You guys took a bunch of homeless people and you gave them $100 each.
And burned them.
And you brought them to the what else are you gonna do?
Right?
And brought them to the most fancy mall in the world.
Short Hills Mall in
Short
Jersey.
Hills Mall, and set them loose in the
fancy mall in
stores.
the world.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then fans showed up and
Set
started
'em
giving
loose.
them money, right?
Yeah, we had like 1,000 fans were there giving these homeless people. We had about 9 or 10 of them giving them money to go shop, and the store owners. It's like Armani and stuff. They're horrified. They're pulling down the gates like they're closed, and the audience is chanting, "Let them shop, let them shop." And they had to lift the gates up. And here are these homeless guys that the smell was beyond all reason.
Right.
And you have some guy trying on an Armani suit jacket that they have to now throw away. A guy trying on new boots, so they had to take their shoes off. They try on the boot, they take it off. There's 3 toes still in it.
The club feet with like the like thick frosting, thick toenails. The whole store smells like a fatberg in the London sewer system.
It was, and it was so bad. But the good part is they did get jackets for the winter and boots and
That's what's beautiful
blankets
about
and things. So it did do some good, but it did good in that kind of O&A we hated everything way. So yeah, it worked. It worked.
It's
was
such
a
a
lot of
good
fun.
middle finger too to those store owners.
Oh
who shut
yeah,
the gates.
they,
You know what I
well,
mean?
they looked like awful people.
Yeah.
Well, the spirit still lives because we tried to give listeners beer once and almost got suspended.
Yeah, that's true.
That'll
That is
work.
true.
That'll happen.
Radio's
Keep it for
cool.
yourself.
All right, more with Anthony. An expression, but in this case, it's true. My stomach hurts from laughing. This has been an unbelievable night with Anthony Cumia. This half hour, of the Matty and Nick program brought to you by Guillermo's Market. Before you stuff your turkey, actually, you know what? Could you read this?
Oh, I would love to.
Anthony, read this copy. Cold read here. Cold read with Anthony Cumia. Here we go. You're not going to believe this.
Yes, brought to you by Golmo's?
Guillermo's.
Oh, Guillermo's. I don't know what that is. Guillermo's Market, but they're great.
Yeah, they are.
Before you stuff your turkey, stuff your mouth with a big, delicious sausage. The kielbasa from Guillermo's, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Market. All the best meats at Guillermo's Market. 43 Millbury Street in Worcester.
Let's swallow some sausage. Anthony. Let's see. Here we go. Question from Chris. I think he's calling from New Jersey on the Framingham Ford studio line. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, that's correct. Hey, good to hear Ant back on WAAF.
Thank you, sir. Good to be back.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you, Ant, I bought the book. Can you tell me a little bit about that chapter on Feed Nana?
Nana?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I have no idea.
Who is that?
That's you. Feed Nana.
He's,
Feed Nana?
This is,
See, Nana?
This is the Reddit guys, eh?
Of course.
Right?
Oh, it's a guy
on
being
the
a...
Discord.
Feed
Now-
Nana.
now-
Shout
now
out
we'll
to
go.
Blue
He's
Lightning
going to go and
Storm.
go, oh, dude, I so got him.
They got the sound audio. They got the audio clip of you saying,
Yeah.
"Nana?"
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, how the hell does he have a copy of it?
Well, he doesn't.
I know.
He was. I believe Howard. I believe that was a farcical call. I don't believe that was O.J. Simpson.
How sad you
You
imagine?
can always tell.
The show have been over for what, 20-something years?
Yeah.
Can you imagine like your life is that you call it like I'm
You're
going to get
still
Anthony?
doing-
Like, so sad.
It's a few. You
bad
get a
for
few people that
Yeah.
have. We had a group of audience members called the Pests.
Yes.
And we could like literally sick them on shows that were giving us
Yes.
grief or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? You did? Dude. Oh, my God.
Rocco and Matty, dude.
Matty, I hope you fall in the bucket of AIDS. Oh, okay, thanks.
Matty, dude.
I got 10,000 of those emails.
I hope you fall in a bucket of AIDS. Now, just think, like, the culmination of your existence, your miserable existence, is hitting send on an email that says, I hope you fall in a bucket
Dude,
of
I
AIDS.
got
Bucket of AIDS.
hundreds of them. But then I said it the other day. I said it off air. A little email in there from Anthony Cumia. Hey, man, no hard feelings. I think you're great. All the best. Good
Yeah.
luck. That was so
I
amazing.
I knew you were in a weird place there with Rocco, dude. Little Rocco and Micro Rocco and
A lot of people want to ask about on the text line. We got like 10 texts mentioning I guess we should bring it up, your thoughts when the Sex for Sam thing was going down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
as it was happening, what was
Going
going through
down.
your mind? Did you know?
Listening live. I listened live that day.
Did you know,
I was.
Did you know we're dead?
Yeah. I afterwards, during it, you just want to push it as far as you can.
Yeah.
With the type of show we were doing, you needed to outdo your last stunt.
Right.
And this we had been doing for years. It was a simple contest. Couples would go out to landmark locations in New York City that was on a list and have sex at these locations. And a spotter, who was either someone from our show or a stand-up comic, would follow them around to confirm that they did it.
Right.
When they did, they would call up and go, okay, we're here at the Empire State Building, and this couple number 3 is doing this, its position or what have you.
Right.
And church was on the list. No one was ever supposed to really go there. It was there to be outrageous. Will you put church on the list? Whoa, that's crazy.
That's worth 10 points.
Right.
Breakfast
so
for dinner.
we get a call from Paul Mercurio, a comic, and he goes, "We're here at St. Pat's, and this couple's having sex. He's doing the 2-point conversion, which was if you spun the girl around.
Gotcha.
It was a
Gotcha.
two-pointer. So he goes that. So
Right.
me
So
and
he's
Opie-
trying to hike the ball.
Right. Exactly.
It was like when Tommy and Billy are third and inches at the goal line.
Exactly. So
You see, he's trying to sneak his penis. And
ran out of euphemisms.
I'm Jim Cook. I brew Sam Adams so people can play hide the meat sword in churches.
Jim, get out of the studio. Get out of the studio.
just leave right
I've
now.
been drinking my double IPA for over 29 years.
Speaking of hops, I'm gonna hop in this cab and never come back. It was crazy. So I had a dump button in front of me. Opie had one in front of him. We had dump buttons everywhere. So I got my finger on it, and I look at Opie, and he looks at me, and we're kind of, for that split second, we could have just eliminated the whole call.
Do you wish you could go back in that moment? Or?
Yeah, there were times where it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Hindsight.
Were you married to her at one point? Hindsight?
Yeah. We neither of us obviously hit the dump button, and it went out. And right after it, we were like, oh, that's not going to be good.
Yeah.
That's not going to be good. Because they stayed, got arrested, and then once that happened and the press got wind of it, you know how they blow things out of proportion. Here's what happened. They were kind of doing something with pants down in a vestibule outside of St. Pat's. Wow. But I literally had people that came up to me and go, so I hear you and Opie were having sex in St. Pat at the Vatican? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? So it gets blown out of proportion, and subsequently we're fired. But again, one of the many times I was permanently suspended.
The name of the book.
I can't believe they didn't walk that back, though.
Right?
I'm surprised that they just didn't, like, just that 2 weeks, a month, or whatever. I mean, that would have hurt ratings too much. But, like,
come on. Considering all the stuff that's been said, there was no hate speak in there. There was no vitriol. It was okay. Listen, it was like the biggest church in Midtown Manhattan, and it's considered like one of the high holy places.
Arguably in the country.
Yeah.
The biggest Catholic church.
Yeah.
Catholics love sex too. More than any other religion.
Yeah,
us Catholics.
They're very guilty
They're
and
so into it.
As a Catholic, I'm triggered right now. So.
Yeah. I don't like to say the word.
Sex. More with Anthony. Oh no! Hold on.
We did. Damn it! We had a chance. We had a chance to pay homage to you at the altar, and we blew it.
That's when I hung up on you by accident when you called in the show last
Oh,
time.
right.
It was an accident.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know.
You are an S show in a dumpster fire, Matty. Fresh off the news.
Fresh off the news, CNN, they call them slug lines in the business or lower thirds, says literally S show, but they say the word.
It says the lower third says, because last year the S-hole country line made it okay to start putting the S-bomb on TV because their quotes, Kellyanne Conway's husband calls Trump administration, quote, an S show in a dumpster fire, which I think is next level awesome.
It's really...
To be able to do an S show in a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
S show.
We've seen dumpster fires. We've
Well,
seen
I can't say
show.
You've just sat through one for the last 4 hours.
Right.
Awesome.
The text line has been doing a damn fine job. 97-107. The love fest pours in, continuing for Anthony Cumia. But my favorite in particular. Hey guys, can you shout out to me and my wife with double D's sitting in the car waiting? I'm going to make her sit in the car and wait until you guys give her a shout. I mean, for a man who wants to be loud and proud about his wife with double D's.
My God.
God bless you.
That's he's bragging.
Yeah, he is. You know what? And I would humble brag too.
Yeah.
Wonder if he wrote his own wedding vows.
978. Hey, Anthony, just want to say thanks for all the laughs. I was only about 16 at the time I started listening, but for me, those years were my golden age of radio and probably the reason I still listen to hacks like Matty and Nick.
Thanks,
Thank
you.
That's you know what? No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Like an actual compliment with a backhanded compliment.
Yes. Well, you're welcome. It was a lot of fun. If it was a girl, I probably would have been in trouble back then. But see, stop, everybody.
Does that bother you at all when people say like, "Oh, I was younger when I like"? Is that like a bad thing when someone says like?
No,
'cause you
it's
still
that
do
whole
real cool
time
stuff.
thing.
I know, but
you know, what are you going to do? The option is you're dead.
Yeah.
you know?
So, yeah. But it is weird when you see people come up and they have some gray hair and it's like, I was in junior high when I listened to you. It's like, what the hell? I hope that's premature aging.
I've opened for guys and I've been like, man, I've been a fan of yours since I was 11, and they kind of like, oh, geez, thanks. You know.
Thanks. Yeah. Well,
you know.
things happen. Time ticks away.
I'm feeling it. Yeah.
It is depressing because all the kids in television and radio, like literally, are half our ages.
Yeah.
But they're like peers because you're working with them.
Yeah.
And it's surreal to work with like a 28-year-old when you're 46 and you're like peers.
There are benchmarks that you go through as you get a little older, and there's like people on TV that are now younger than you, and then the first cop you get pulled over by that's younger than you. That's kind of like, why you wet behind the ears, kid?
Yeah.
Back in my day.
When they start to say an athlete's career is over and he's younger than you.
Younger than you, that's huge.
Like,
the president. Right. But maybe not this one.
Yeah.
But like Obama, I think, was exactly my age. So that was kind of weird. You're like, I don't like that. So I like Trump in there now, 70-something.
Do you have a, do you subscribe, are you an atheist? Do you subscribe to any faith? Or?
No, I wouldn't say I'm an atheist. I think there's probably something going on.
Yeah.
But because everything's just too weird. How the hell you concoct these goopy machines that actually work?
Right.
Like a machine
Bananas?
of goop. Yeah.
I always think of that when I eat a banana. I'm like, there's a God. Come on, look at this.
Yeah, look at this thing. It's amazing.
Well, I told Nick my cheeseburger theory of like the fact that cheeseburgers taste like they do, and broccoli tastes like it does, but broccoli is good for you and cheeseburger can kill you.
Right.
That, to me, tells you there's order in the universe. It's a big test. Why can't we just eat stuff that tastes delicious with no consequence?
Everything amazingly delicious is terrible, right?
So that tells me there's a test going on.
Well, you can eat whatever you want unless you just don't want to feel your feet. Or you just want to be a reason why healthcare costs so damn much.
And why are drugs, which are fun, and alcohol, why do you pay a price? Speaking of which, we did get some texts asking about your partner, Artie Lange. What's the
Oh,
latest?
yeah. I was doing a show with Artie Lange for about 8 months. The book ends off with me still doing a show with Artie.
Yeah, right.
Well, the update on that, the abridged version, he was working with me for about 8 months. He was my sidekick, my partner on the Anthony Cumia show. And he's got his demons, man. It's tough. He's gone through so many rehabs and trying to get things together. He's everyone that talks about him goes, he's the greatest guy in the world. My God, I love Artie. He's so funny. He's a great guy. And he is all those things. He's also a drug addict.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to work with a drug addict. I didn't have a problem with him. It was the things like not showing up kind of stuff and
Right.
a lot of stretching the truth as far as why you're not there and things. So while he's hilariously funny, and it was a great 8 months to work with him, we just had to kind of go separate ways at that point.
Yeah.
He's amazing on the show Crashing on HBO. If you see him live, he's hilariously funny. He was some of the greatest moments on the Howard Stern show for many years. So I love the guy, but and I wish him the best. He's going through a lot right now, and hopefully, I know so many comics. Like Dave Attell was the one when I first got Artie on board on my show. Dave goes, "Oh, welcome to the wonderful world of Artie Lange. Enjoy the 3 a.m. phone calls." Like, oh God, he's right. This is like in no time it started, and we love him, but it's like a family member with that kind of problem. There's nothing you can do about it.
And the worst part is having to decide, like Howard had to at a certain point, and then you did as well, when you have to, like, I want to help you. I want to continue to do everything I can within my power as like a comported, upright, reasonable human. But you also have to, like, stop cutting off the quality of your life and cut them out and just say, like, I can't help you anymore.
It's impossible.
It's got to come from you, or it's not going to happen at all.
Yeah, unless that, and it's so, like, it's one of those things that you hear time and time again. It's up to them. They're the ones that have to do it for themselves. DePaulo was another one. When I first got started, I was like, well, you worked with Artie. What's that like? He goes, you'll find out. You'll find out.
Yeah,
They had a sports radio show together.
Yeah,
that didn't even make it 8 months, I don't think.
No, I don't think.
It has to come from them, right,
Yeah.
Stiz?
That's right, Matty.
Let's go to the Framingham Ford studio line. And by the way, if you didn't get a message into Anthony, if you didn't get your question through, the phone lines have been lit up. You can leave him a message, our generic radio voicemail. You still might be able to squeak a one or two in, 617-779-5454. Let's go to Bud. Bud, you're on with Matty, Nick, Will Noonan, and Anthony Cumia.
Hey, guys. Shower Bears.
Shower Bears, buddy.
So how do you feel now that cannabis is legal, now that here in Mass, since you've left the radio station many years ago when it wasn't legal, now it is legal, and I had made a strain for Matty and Nick, which they absolutely liked.
It was fabulous.
He did make our own strain of weed, which
He
I don't
did.
partake in, but
It is so
really good.
odd the way weed has just become, and the fact that it's still illegal in certain places is stunning to me.
Yeah.
First of all, alcohol could possibly be the worst thing you could put in your body.
Seriously.
And I look forward to it every evening. But weed, it's like, I remember growing up buying a baggie of weed with half sticks and seeds, and it was terrible and gave you a headache. And now it's coming in packages like heat pressed plastic, like a toy, and it's great, and
And it looks like candy you would buy at a store, like, oh wow, Paw Patrol weed candy.
Edibles, things like that. I was hanging out with Joe Rogan last week, and he was drinking weed beer.
What?
Like beer with weed diffused in it. And it was apparently a lot in it. So halfway, we get done with the show, and we're talking, and out of nowhere he goes, whoa, that's hitting me right now, right about now. And it was hilarious. Like, but it's available in so many different forms, and it's so different than, rolling a joint on an old Yes album. And,
Hey, Molly Hatchet. Their artwork is great. You want another doobie?
Dude, roll a joint and just look at the guy with the hatchet.
Dude, he's got a hatchet,
Is
man.
that Molly Hatchet?
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
All right, more with Anthony Cumia. You might as well stay till the end of the show.
I'm here. Why
Okay,
not?
Love it.
Cool.